Melissa Turner, a famous cosplayer and cam girl, once found herself at the height of internet stardom. After a rocky start in life, she transformed her appearance and her lifestyle, garnering admiration and fame. But in the fall of 2019, her life took a horrifying turn. What followed was a nightmarish series of events that culminated in a shocking crime just before Halloween. Today, we dive deep into the disturbing case of Melissa Turner and her victim, Matthew Trussler, exploring how a life of fame and fantasy spiraled into tragedy. Welcome back to the True Crime Nerd, where we cover the most twisted and perplexing criminal cases from around the world. If you're a fan of deep dives into solved, unsolved, and strange cases, be sure to subscribe. You know the drill. Grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dig into the chilling story of Melissa Turner, also known as Two-Thorned Rose. Melissa Rose Turner was born on November 25, 1992, in Florida. Growing up in the humid and wild terrain of Tampa Bay, Melissa was, by all accounts, an ordinary girl. She had a typical upbringing, enjoying 90s films like Baywatch and Evil Dead 2, and she had a deep love for horror and fantasy. But behind this seemingly normal life, Melissa harbored a secret pain: her weight. By her late teens, she had reached 250 pounds, around 114 kilograms, and her struggles with body image began to take a heavy toll on her self-confidence. She also faced financial hardship, being $26,000 deep in student loan debt, despite having an associate's degree in small business. Life seemed bleak, but instead of succumbing to depression, Melissa made a bold decision to change her life in a big way. In 2011, Melissa embarked on a transformative journey, shedding over 90 pounds within 2 years. By 2013, she had reinvented herself entirely, going from 250 pounds to 160. Along with the physical changes came a renewed sense of self-confidence, and Melissa soon entered the world of cosplay, dressing up as her favorite characters from horror and fantasy films. Cosplaying became a source of empowerment for her, and soon Melissa was a well-known name in the cosplay community. Her appearances at conventions and online were met with admiration, and her reputation as Two-Thorned Rose started to take shape. But this newfound confidence led her down a darker path when she ventured into the world of online adult entertainment. In 2013, Melissa was introduced to a lucrative but controversial career path, becoming a cam girl. For those unfamiliar, cam modeling is an adult-oriented online job where models interact with viewers in exchange for tips, often performing erotic acts. Melissa, who had already grown comfortable with the attention she received from cosplaying, saw this as a natural evolution of her brand. She adopted the persona of Two-Thorned Rose, creating adult content that combined her love of horror and cosplay. Soon, Melissa was making substantial income through various online platforms, including Patreon. By the mid-2010s, her camgirl career had flourished, and she was earning thousands of dollars a month. With her newfound financial success, Melissa and her boyfriend at the time, known only as Sin, opened a home studio where other models could come and shoot content for a fee. It seemed as though Melissa's entrepreneurial spirit had led her to a golden opportunity. However, the pressures of the business began to weigh on their relationship, and Sin and Melissa eventually broke up. The fallout from the breakup took a toll on Melissa, leaving her emotionally vulnerable. In the summer of 2017, after her breakup with Sin, Melissa met a new man who would dramatically alter the course of her life: Matthew Trussler. Born on January 11, 1994, Matthew grew up in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, a small, quiet town far removed from the chaotic and steamy environment of Tampa, Florida. Known as a fun-loving and hard-working man, Matthew had a deep love for animals and a strong connection to his family. By 2015, Matthew had relocated to Tampa to be closer to his brother, Sean, and to explore new job opportunities. He quickly found work at a technology company called Lantern Energy before moving on to Elite Foam, a business specializing in residential insulation. Matthew and Melissa's relationship blossomed quickly, and by Christmas 2018, the couple seemed happy, at least on the surface. They even purchased a 4-bedroom home together in Riverview, Florida, sharing it with their 4 cats and a puppy named Lanta. On Matthew's 25th birthday, he proudly posted on Facebook about his love for life, expressing joy over his new home and his relationship with Melissa. But things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Despite the picture-perfect image of their relationship that they portrayed on social media, things behind closed doors were much darker. Neighbors frequently heard the couple arguing, and Matthew's brother, Sean, described their relationship as toxic. By September 2019, Matthew's once joyous Facebook posts had taken a cryptic turn. On September 23rd, he posted a status that read, "Don't be a fool and blame others. Fight your own war." A few days later, his relationship status was listed as single. What followed next would be a devastating series of events. On the morning of October 18th, 2019, at 8:45 a.m., police received a frantic 911 call from Melissa Turner. She claimed to have found Matthew dead in the backyard of their home, lying unresponsive on the patio. She said she had no idea what had happened. When officers arrived, they were greeted by a horrifying scene. Halloween decorations adorned the front of the house, but in the backyard, the gruesome reality of the situation set in. Matthew's lifeless body lay on the patio, showing clear signs of a violent struggle. His body was covered in deep stab wounds, with lacerations across his arms that indicated he had tried to defend himself. Melissa was visibly shaken, appearing traumatized by what she had discovered. But as investigators dug deeper, her story began to unravel. Initially, Melissa told officers that she had found Matthew outside that morning and had no idea what had occurred. But after being taken to the police station for questioning, her story changed. She claimed that Matthew had returned home drunk the night before, and an argument between the two escalated into violence. According to her, Matthew had attacked her, and in self-defense, she had grabbed a knife and fatally stabbed him. However, forensic evidence at the scene didn't support Melissa's account. Matthew had sustained multiple stab wounds, and the defensive injuries on his arms suggested that he had been desperately trying to fend off his attacker. Moreover, Melissa had waited nearly 4 hours before calling 911, a chilling indication of her lack of urgency in getting help. One of the most damning pieces of evidence came from an unlikely source, a Nest Home security camera at a neighboring house. While the camera couldn't capture the visuals of the incident due to a fence, it recorded the audio of the brutal altercation. The audio revealed a terrifying sequence of events. Around 4:30 a.m., Melissa could be heard shouting at Matthew, followed by the sound of glass shattering. The recording captured Melissa yelling, "I hate you," and "Get up," before the sounds of further violence could be heard. At one point she screamed, "What did I do?" a haunting indication of her role in the fatal attack. Melissa was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. In court, her defense team argued that she had acted in self-defense, painting Matthew as an abusive partner who had attacked her first. However, the jury didn't buy her story. The forensic evidence, along with the Nest camera audio, painted a very different picture. It became clear that this was not an act of self-defense, but a brutal, premeditated attack. Melissa's decision to wait hours before calling for help only strengthened the prosecution's case that this was murder, not a tragic accident. In the end, Melissa Turner was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 20 years in prison. For Matthew Trussler's family, the verdict brought some closure, but nothing could bring back the young man whose life had been so violently taken. Matthew's love for his family, friends, and animals was well documented, and his untimely death left a gaping hole in the lives of those who knew him. As for Melissa, the woman who once thrived in the limelight as a cosplayer and cam girl, her fame has now been forever stained by the horrific crime she committed.